Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom. I'm your More. This is the right channel at the right time. You're in the right place. This is Shabbat Morning Coffee. Grab your coffee, grab your notebooks, grab a pen, and yes, let's get into it. We're going to be talking about 7 levels to a deeper walk in the Tanakh. It's our main topic. 7 levels to a deeper walk in the Tanakh. That is our topic. We got some interesting things coming up ahead, so we need you, to be front and center and for you to participate. Peace and blessings. I'm Melchi Uriel, and we'll be right back.
Melchi Uriel. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down, to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Yes, hey, I'm back. I'm your More, Melchi Uriel. Yes, glad that you are here. Peace and blessings to you. Shabbat Shalom. May the Most High smile on you. May He bless you. May He keep you. We want you to know that you're in the right place at the right time. This is, of course, Shabbat Morning Coffee. As you can see behind me, yes, got coffee beans and everything. I hope that you've got your coffee or your tea and that you've got something to write with. This is intended to be a time of relaxation, but also contemplation and learning as we join together as a community and as we flow together in the things of the Tanakh. We've got a lot to discuss. I want to greet you all in the name of the Most High. This channel is Yah only. This channel is Tanakh only, or Torah only, as some put it. Euphemistically, we are those who stand upon the words of the Most High. There is ample reason that we have as to why we are Tanakh only and why we are Yah only. Despite the fact that many people feel, even those who are Hebrews, feel as if, you know what, we need to embrace the New Testament. No, we do not need to embrace the New Testament. It's called opening up your eyes and embracing the words of the Most High and putting His words first, putting the Most High first, and understanding who your Father is and knowing how He operates. When you're in a home and you've got a daddy and you know how your daddy operate, you can just about, you don't have to ask him certain things. You can just know that, you know what, there are certain things, daddy he ain't gonna like that. There's no way he gonna like that. And it is that same understanding that we need to have when it comes to the scriptures. There's certain things that he is just not gonna like, but somehow I'm sorry to say it, it's almost as if we punked out God, or we've listened to others and allow us to punk out our Father and make us think that, oh, he just gonna accept anything. Oh, he, whatever, he ain't like that no more. He changed, whatever, It's kind of like one day, I'll never forget it. My son was young, and by the way, thanks Josh and Penny for reaching out to me and mentioning my son. Thank you. But when this particular son that I'm talking about, when he was younger, now I'm in his presence, right? And he's talking to one of his friends, and he does something or says something, and he's like, because his friend said, man, your dad. And so he says, he ain't gonna do nothing. I want you to know that when my son just said, oh, he ain't gonna do nothing, everything rose up in me, and you can trust he got dealt with in the next few moments without hesitation. Well, see, he provoked me, right? He provoked me. Well, many of us are provoking our Father. We're provoking him. Yes, he's merciful. Yes, he's kind. Yes, he's gracious towards us. He understands where we're at, but many of us are still rubbing him the wrong way, and we're thinking that we're doing him a service. Listen, there comes a time when if you feel like you're, doing him service, even though you're doing him the wrong way, there comes a time where basically he's going to get you told. He's going to tell you point blank, look, you are wrong. You're doing the wrong thing. And so there's those of us, like members of the family, guess what we're doing? We're saying, hey, daddy don't like that. Daddy don't like that. Daddy don't like, and we're trying to warn you, right, before you get the wrath of daddy, whatever that may be. Okay, a shoe upside the noggin, or however he does what he does. Hey, we want to make absolutely sure that you understand that daddy don't like that. Daddy don't play that. Well, when it comes to the Tanakh, daddy does not play adding things that are not his words and then blaming him or saying that he did say those things that go completely against his word under the guise of revelation. That doesn't fly. Daddy doesn't like that. And you know what? With that being the case, we stand flat-footedly where we are, even though people tease us and say that we're one bookers, we're half bookers. Listen, you can say whatever the HE double hockey sticks you want. We will stand with the Most High. We will stand upon his word and his word alone. And if something does not agree with that, Isaiah 8:20, to the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, there is no light in them. We whip you the proverbial middle finger and say, you know what, we will not follow you out of some weird kind of bullying peer pressure for adults. I mean, we will not do that. We're not intimidated, right? And we have enough within us to stand upon the words of the Most High and flat-footedly declare that no, what you have in the New Testament does not agree with the Most High. It does not agree with his word. Therefore, we will not follow it. We will not stand for it. And yeah, we do have receipts. So for those of you that would want to challenge that, listen, I just need you to know that right now you need to understand that we are Tanakh only, and that we follow the words, the laws, the statutes of the Most High, and we could care less what Paul has said. We could care less what anyone else has said. We go by his words and by his words alone. Imagine this, if you will. You get up there, you're being judged by the Most High, and he says, look, I told you that I'm the only one. I told you that in Isaiah 43:10 and 11. And then you said, but Paul said, man, I mean, like, can't you just imagine the proverbial backslap? But Paul had said, who created you? Did Paul create you? Did Paul create heaven and earth? Paul said he had a revelation. So what? What did I tell you? But Reverend Fatback, no, listen, you can play those games if you want. You want to skate on thin ice? You skate on thin ice. I ain't gonna do it, okay? I'm not doing it, so I'm not yielding to the pressure. I'm not gonna bow down to the pressure and say, oh, I gotta, man, well, everybody else is reading from the New Testament, I may as well. No. I don't care what the CFWs do, okay? CWFs, I'm sorry. I don't care what who are the CWFs? Christians with fringes. Those Hebrews who are nothing more than Christians. Nah, I don't care what they say, okay? They're nothing but glorified Christians in Hebrew garb, saying Yeshua and saying Yah. I'm not fooled. I will stand upon the words of the Most High, because you know what? Daddy don't play that, right? The Most High doesn't play certain things, and you all are playing around. And you know what? There comes a time where the grace and mercy is like, hey, you know what? Yeah, there's been plenty grace, plenty mercy, but you know what? It's time to get down with the getting down. And basically, the Most High has had enough, right? When the Most High has had enough, he's had enough. And hey, you're going to be dealt with, basically. Okay, you're going to be dealt with, and you may not know where the hand is coming from. You may not know what's going on, but the Most High Himself will deal with those. He says, I will repay those that hate me. I'm going to repay them to their face. Oh, I got something for them. Oh yeah, they may think that they're getting away, but I've got something for them. Well, we stand upon the words of the Most High. His words abide forever. We stand upon His words. We are in the midst of everything that's going on. We still choose to stand upon the words of the Most High, and we flow therein. I'm your More. This is your channel. I'm Malkia Uriel, and you know what? We are going to have a wonderful time. Again, I greet you all in the name of Yah, in the name of the Most High. You're at the right place. Yes, you're at the right place. We love His word. We stand upon His word. Therefore, we are ready to embrace what He says and to walk therein and to demonstrate it. That's who we are. We demonstrate His laws, statutes, and His commandments. We stand upon His word, which abides forever. Therefore, those of us who are here, we know that we stand upon the covenant. And for those that don't know, we use the miniature version, which is called the 10 Declarations, according to Deuteronomy 4:13. Yes, it is even this that it is a covenant within itself, and so we do use this as a benchmark as well. This is good for those of you just starting out. One, we do not have any other Elohim but our Elohim Himself, the creator of heaven and earth. We connect, we bow down, we pledge our allegiance, we serve only the Most High. We will not make any object, molten, wood, stone, graven. We will not even create an imaginary idol in our minds to bow down to it and to worship it. We will not take His name, nor His character, nor a vow, nor His presence. We will not take that in vain. We shall forever honor. And we also keep Shabbat holy, which is this day. We do no work during the daylight hours. We know that there may be some of us in exile. Well, we're all in exile, but there may be some of us that are constrained to work on this day because they just simply have no choice. Their employer demands it. Well, we remember Shabbat and we remember to keep it holy. We honor our mothers and our fathers that our days may be long upon the earth. We honor our ancestors, for we stand upon their shoulders. And yes, we honor them in what we do and in how we live and in the worship of the one deity that they also knew, our Elohim. And we will not shed innocent blood. We are not murderers. We will not shed innocent blood. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not be a witness a false witness in any matter of adjudication, but we shall speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in matters of adjudication. And we will not covet anything that belongs to anyone else, for we know that the Most High has He has our blessings already in store for us. And we are of the mindset that our blessings are seeking us out. Get into that mindset that your blessings are seeking you out. Your blessings are trying to find you. And the Most High has over 1 million different ways He can bring a blessing into your life. He is not out of ideas. He is not out of options. He is able to bless you. He knows your address. He knows right where you are. And so expect it. Live in expectation of the hand of the Most High being revealed in your life on a personal level. Okay? Want to say that we are a people that love His word. We stand upon His word. We also love to pray. And we also love to give praise unto the Most High. How do we pray? Well, it is just a little different. Why? Because we search within first, and we understand that yes, we're in a family relationship with the Most High. Hallelujah. We give Him praise for that. And so we judge ourselves first. Have I sinned against the Most High? Have I willfully sinned against the Most High? Have I knowingly sinned against the Most High on purpose? Have I done something against His word? Well, if I have, then I need to demonstrate with a heartfelt sense of truth and honesty and integrity. I need to do the right thing the right way consistently, and then I will be forgiven before the Most High. You see, this is the mercy of the Most High. This is the grace and the mercy of the Most High, that He gives you another day to demonstrate and to prove that you've got the lesson and that you no longer are going to sin against Him. And so if you've arisen today knowing that you have sinned against the Most High, it is grace and it is mercy that allows you to demonstrate the opposite from a true heart of love, from a true heart of understanding. And the Most High Himself will honor you and forgive you for your sin automatically, I might add. You don't have to beg for forgiveness, though you don't have to ask for forgiveness, though, even though you can, right? Well, not only that, but there may be someone that has sinned against you and they still don't know how to act. Well, should you forgive them? Well, those people that are forgiven are those that have demonstrated that they can do what is right from a heartfelt sense of truth and integrity. If they have not done that, then hey, then I'm sorry. They have not done what's necessary in order to be forgiven. I know Christianity teaches different, but so what? I don't care that they teach something different. I don't care that they teach that you have to forgive everybody for everything. And I don't care what they teach. You have to walk in a level of wisdom and truth and authority and according to the word of the Most High. And that's the way that the Most High operates, so that's the way that we operate. It's in His word that we operate this way. Long story short, I could say more about this, but we forgive those that demonstrate consistently out of a heart of purity and integrity that yes, they can do the right thing. Then, of course, we're able to forgive them and we're able to move on. Well, with that being the case, we're going to prepare to pray. So take some inventory, do some inner work. We're going to get ready to pray. Be right back. All right, let's pray before the Most High. El Elyon Yah, Elohim, Baruch atah b'hashemayim, Baruch atah b'haaretz, Baruch atah b'kol haolam, Baruch atah melech haolam. Blessed are you, Most High, in the heavens and in the earth and in the entire universe. You are the King of the universe, and we give unto you the praise, the glory, and the honor. We honor you this day with our heartfelt thanks, and we come together as your people, and we thank you, we honor you, we give you praise together as your people, we honor you as your people. We're made strong by you. We say of you that you are our strength and you are our righteousness, and we say of you that you hold us in the secret place of the Most High. We abide under your shadow. We are held in the secret place away from all hurt, harm, and danger. We thank you that you are our protection. Your glory, your presence and spirit is our rear guard. We thank you that you are with us. We thank you that you have sworn that you would uphold us, even though we would fall 7 times. We thank you that you said that you would pick us up again. And we thank you that because we seek to walk in your ways, we seek your righteousness, we seek your peace, we seek your divine peace, we seek you, Most High, we seek your presence. And with that being so, we know that we fellowship with you and we commune with you even on a daily basis. We thank you for how we can reach up and touch your heart even while we're driving, while we're living during our day, while we're moving around and doing what we have to do. We thank you that we are forever connected. We're connected with you and we're connected with each other. I lift up this entire family before you. I lift up this entire Hebrew community before you. I dare not call each and every one of them by name, but I lift them all up before you. And I thank you for how you've heard my prayers and how you've heard the prayers of the other members of this group. You've heard our prayers concerning Jerry and concerning Donna, for our beloved Leonie Croning, concerning other members of this group that are in need of your help, like Josh and Penny. Penny herself, who you've blessed her to be strong and healthy, and may she continue to be so. We thank you for how you are with them, and you're with her, and you're with the both of them, and you're even looking out over certain members of their family because of them, and we thank you for that. We thank you that they are a light unto their family. They're a light in their community, even though they may not know it, even though it may not manifest. We thank you. I thank you for my brother Bergen Paris and his family. I thank you for each and every one of them, and I lift up them before you. I lift up his wife Stephanie. I lift her up, and I lift him up, and I pray that you bless them financially. I pray that you bless them physically and health and just in every way imaginable. We lift up Mariska Parker's son before you, that you are leading him and you are guiding him, and you're going to use all of these things in his life to lead him down the right path. She needs your help with him, and we thank you that you are there. It's all in your hands already. And we pray that she begins to notice the change of heart and the change of his ways. And we want to thank you for that. Also, we thank you for every member of this particular group. I even pray for my fellow Morays, my fellow Moray, Yeshaya. I pray for him. I pray that you increase him on every side, that you bless him, my Father, and that you look upon him and that you strengthen him and even cause him to follow you more pinpointedly and opening up his eyes to even a greater blessing and a greater flow and a greater strength. May he come into his own even more so, even tenfold. May you strengthen him and he come into his own even more so. Give him a sure following. Give him those that will be with him, even as you've given me these that are with me. And I thank you and I give you praise, Most High. I thank you for each and every person. I thank you for this day. I thank you for what you're doing for us as a people. And we honor you, Most High. We honor you, Most High. We give you all of our stress, our care. We give you all of that because it is written in your word, in the Tanakh, that you care for us. You care for us. And we enter into that even as we rest in this Shabbat. You are caring for us. You're looking out for us. Hallelujah. The Malachim, they're encamped round about us. And we thank you for that. We thank you for that truth and that reality. And we just live in it. We rejoice in it. And we thank you. Most High, there's more that we could say, but we honor you. We love you. We thank you for being with us this day. In your name and in your name alone. Aman wa aman. Well, peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Yes, we do give praise unto the Most High, for he is with us all. Well, Israel is no longer cursed. And yes, we are strong in him. Look for his hand to begin to manifest his blessings on your behalf on a daily basis. Well, that sounds like a reason to give him praise. And you know what? We're going to give him some praise. And I got to serve you notice. Look, you all know the drill. You know I can't sing, right? You know I can't play, but I will try to do both at the same time to give praise to the Most High. He is everything to me, and I'm telling you, I go for broke for him without hesitation. I'm telling you, because he is worthy. He is my strength. Without him, I would not exist. He is my very life. He is my very health and my very strength. So with that, hey, we're going to give him praise. So let's get ready to give him praise. And you know I can't sing, so when my voice cracks, just look over me. Again, this is not Hebrew entertainment. This is not Hebrew entertainment. I'm not trying to sound good for you. I'm not trying to sound like a recording artist for you. This is not about entertainment. If you want to be entertained, we can do that some other time. But this is about giving praise unto the Most High. And I do it boldly, even though I can't sing. I do it boldly so that you would be able to do it boldly as well, regardless of the state of excellence that you find in your voice, regardless of what there may be. Hey, you have a reason to give praise unto the Most High. It'll do you good. You may as well go for broke and give him some praise with us. Let's get ready to give him praise. Says Yahweh. Hear my witnesses, says Yahweh. Oh, oh, oh. Hear my servants, whom I have chosen. Hear my servants, whom I have chosen. That you may know and believe me and understand that I am He. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. this is the day that he has made. We rejoice, we rejoice, we rejoice, we rejoice. This is the day that he has made. All right. We would love to continue praising him. Yes, as I always do. I always want to praise the Most High. I could praise the Most High all the time. I really could. In fact, it seems like I don't have enough time to be able to get some praises in like I want. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. I love you, every last one of y'all. People's love you. Yes, I do. And you know what? Let's give some shout outs. Let's see who is up in here. Who's up in the house? Well, all right, the first person to turn the lights on was none other than Bergen Paris. Peace and blessings to you, Chief Moderator. Excuse me, Chief Moderator. Peace and blessings to you. Hey, guess who turned the coffee pot on, though? Yeah, the person that turned the coffee pot on was none other than our beloved sister, Amuna Pua. Peace and blessings to you. Yes, peace and blessings to you. And yeah, who helped her dish up the coffee, put the coffee in the filter? Well, it was Yahudith. Yes, Yahudith Yisrael. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. I'm glad that you are here. My brother Adrian, peace and blessings to you, my brother. Glad that you are here. The Minister of Economics in the house. Our brothers here, Ben Naphtali, peace and blessings to you, my family. I'm glad that you're here. You know, I feel good when you're around. I do. I feel good when you're around. I feel like I got some help if I need it. And I feel that way about a number of you as well. I mean, it's wonderful. I'm glad that you guys are here. It makes me feel so good. Terry, glad that you're in the house, my sister. Peace and blessings to you, Terry. I'm glad you're here. And hey, look who I see here, y'all. None other than Miss H. Peace and blessings to you, Miss H. Peace and blessings to you. And Elimelech Yisakar, peace and blessings to you. Wow, interesting. Says Shalom. I listen to your channel often. I'm very happy to find your channel. But I have a question, and you know what? I would be very happy. All right. Thank you, and I will address that question. Let me continue to give shout outs to George Evans in the house. Peace and blessings to you, George Evans. Glad that you're here, man. How you feeling? How you doing? Glad that you are here, George Evans. And my brother Bergen Paris, thank you for mentioning that. JNP TV in the house. Hey, love you guys, Josh and Penny. Love you guys. Always glad that you guys are here. Glad to see you. So Michael Charles Marsh is here. Man, every time I see his picture, he makes me think of my son, because my son looks a lot like that picture right there. Really does. Peace and blessings to you, Michael Charles Marsh. What's up, man? What's going on? Man, you got to hit me up an email sometime. Kevin, Mr. Weeze, Canada. Shabbat Shalom to you. All praises to the Most High. Yes, all praises to the Creator. Peace and blessings to you. Glad that you are here, my brother. Peace and blessings to you. Also, who else do we have here? We have, did I get everybody? My sister, Jacqueline E. Bugs. Yes, I did get the reel that you sent me, and I will take a look at that. I will definitely will. Peace and blessings to everyone in the house. Looks like I got everybody. And I just simply want to say, you know what? I'm glad that each and every one of you are here. Now, there is a question already on the board, but we're going to open it up for questions at a particular time. So, Elimelech, I don't want you to think that we're just like pushing pushing that back. We will get to your question. Okay, we will definitely open it up for that. But what we're going to do when I return, you know what? I did forget to do something, y'all. I forgot to do something. Because you know what? YouTube has been acting crazy. So let me go ahead and put this disclaimer up. and I'll be right back. Peace and blessings to you, Mishpachah. Yes, listen, there are seven different levels that we need to address in walking a deeper level in the Tanakh. But before I begin, let me preface this by simply saying, first and foremost, we are getting ready to go into some more turbulent times. And it's needful that we have our basics down pat. It's needful that you be able to know what the basics are, because the basics are your foundation. If you do not have a solid foundation, then the building will crumble when things happen. The building will definitely crumble when things happen. With that being the case, you have to have an established foundation, even in these crazy times. Now, not every one of us has the ability, not every one of us has the ability to leave the country in light of, Project 2025 and other things that are happening. The agenda is making itself known without issue. Okay, there are things that are taking place that, and there is also a finger pointed at our community, not our specific community, but those who are Hebrew, those who have a Hebraic perspective to spirituality and the Tanakh. There are fingers pointed at us as if we are a part of the problem, as if we are a part of the, as if we are an enemy, if you will. Well, we are an enemy to unrighteousness. Yes, no, that's very true. We're an enemy to unrighteousness, for we follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. And so we live in righteousness. So we disagree with unrighteousness. Yes, of course, right? Consider us an enemy, if you will. However, with that being the case, it's important to understand that while things get more and more chaotic, the Most High, and this is what I believe is happening, the Most High is bringing us to a point to where we're going to have to stick together, and not only that, but we're going to have to stick together as a unit, as a whole, and we're going to have to follow his laws, statutes, and his commandments. I believe everything is going to a point to where we will find ourselves in a very, I don't want to say like a very primitive setting, but we are going back. Things are going to be dialed back to where we're not dependent on so many modernities and modern technologies that have helped us. Things are progressing to the point, and in fact, the wicked ones that we're dealing with, if they lose power, and they are losing power, they would rather bomb everything back to a state of, the primitive state of existence, rather than to hand over to other people, everything. They would not want to do that. Well, listen, long story short, and that's just my opinion, that's just my suspicion of what they would do, but the plans of the Most High are solid and they are sure, and what we must do is we must know beyond the shadow of a doubt that we are ready for what the Most High is doing. Now please, give me just a little bit of time here, because I want to share something with you. I truly believe that there is a miracle, if you will, a miraculous element to the Tanakh. I believe that there is a miraculous element to following the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. What do you mean? One, I would say this, that no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, when you begin to follow the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, you immediately put yourself in the plan of what the Most High is doing, and you make yourself eligible to receive of any blessing, any update, anything that the Most High is doing. You then are put up to date, if you will. Your card is stamped, present. You're here. You're good. You're part of that crew that the Most High is working with when you follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Also, wherever you are in life, as far as time is concerned, when you're following the laws, statutes, and the commandments, you are making up for lost time automatically when you just simply keep the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Also, I believe that within any governmental system that we may find ourselves embedded as a people, when we follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, we also are on a more solid foundation, and we will last, and we will abide, and we will weather whatever storms may come, because we are stationed firmly and securely in the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Okay, so it has a miraculous way about it that brings you right into the timing and the seasons of what the Most High is doing. Also, excuse me, I will say this, that when it comes to walking in the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, it also has the ability to rebuild who you are. In essence, it rebuilds who you are, and it reestablishes. And in fact, let's do this. Let's go into the Tanakh, and let me find something for you that my keyboard is acting crazy this morning. Let's see if I can even. Yeah, I got some issues this morning, boy. I'm telling you, this thing is just going nuts. Anyway, let me pull it. It's making it difficult for me to pull up some scripture, okay? But in fact, you know what? I think I have it posted in one of our notations here. Give me just a second. Let me find it. But it reads that the word of the Most High. And I want you to see this. I want you to. I can't even type on my keyboard. But there is. Let me find it here. There is a declaration that basically states what the word of the Most High is doing in and with us whenever we are in the law and following the law. There is something that it is doing in and with us, okay? And it shows us that the law is perfect. The law is, when it says that here it is converting the soul, okay? There we go, I'll hit the button again. So notice here it says that the law of Yah is perfect. It is converting the soul. The testimony of Yah is sure, and it makes wise the simple. And what I want to point out is that while we're talking about the word of the Most High and talking about being in the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, one of the things I need to point out here is that when we were in Christianity, we were taught that, they weren't saved like we're saved, okay? We have like the sure salvation, like our salvation is for real, but everybody else's salvation is not real. Ours is the only one that's real. So let me just show you this in the Hebrew. When it says, excuse me, let me get the Hebrew for you. There we go. When it reads here that the law is perfect and it is converting the soul, this converting of the soul, it is a converting that is restorative and bringing you back into your original personhood. In other words, not just who you are in this moment, but who you were always meant to be in the eyes of the Most High. In other words, the individual that He created you to be, this is what the word, when you get connected with the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, the real you begins to show. The real you begins to thrive. The real you begins to take not just root, but begins to grow. Okay? Not the imposter that this society and this world wants to create, but the real you. So it reads that the law of Yah is perfect, and it has the ability to convert the soul. Okay, so it does convert the soul, and the testimonies of Yah, in other words, what the Most High has said is going to happen, which is His testimony, basically it is sure, and it will make you wise because you will know what is coming down the pike. Okay, that's why the testimonies of Yah are important. The statutes of Yah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yah is pure, enlightening the eyes, giving you an understanding of what purity is, and giving you an understanding who Yah is. The fear of Yah is cleansing. These are all in the Hebraic absolute for the Hebrew language, which means that there is an infinitive characteristic to them, meaning that you could put ing on the end of these. Okay, the fear of Yah, or the reverence of Yah, it is cleansing. Okay, it has a cleaning effect to your soul and to your mind and to your heart, and it is enduring forever. So these things, when we get plugged in with the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, these agencies automatically begin to work with us and in us, right? The other day, I was washing, and I was actually washing some dishes, and I put a little bit of bleach. In the dishwater, as I do sometimes, especially when anyone in the household may cough or something like that. I'll do that. Well, I accidentally spilled a couple of drops on a shirt that I was wearing. Well, you understand what happened. There was bleach in the water, and therefore my shirt, hey, it was just automatic. I didn't have to ask it to change colors. It was just automatic. It was something that automatically changed based upon what had happened, and this is what happens to us when we follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Some things are happening automatically, but now let's continue with the word of the Most High, and let's follow through with it, because there are 7 levels, if you will, for our deepening our walk and establishing our foundation in the Tanakh. Okay, and all of these are important. Okay, all of these are very important, but One of these that's very important is the language. Understanding the language of the Hebrew is something that you're going to have to embrace, because it definitely is one of the levels. In fact, it is so important until the Most High said, you know what? One of the things that I must do, one of the things that I have to do is, you know what, I'm going to have to, in order for my plan to come to pass, I'm going to have to do a restorative overhaul of the language, okay, and I'm going to have to restore that to the people. Let's take a look at that. That comes to us from Zephaniah 3 and 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yah to serve him with one consent. Okay, giving you context, this is what the Most High says that he is going to do. I'm just going to begin here, verse number 8, Zephaniah 8, and then go into 9. Therefore wait upon me, says Yah, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. To pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. Even all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people. I will return to the people a pure language. So this is a part of what the Most High is doing in these last days. And by the way, I truly do believe I know exactly where this is, where he's trying to gather all the nations together. And we're going to talk about it. It's already begun. We're going to talk about it later, not today, but it's already begun. But he says, you know what? I'm going to have to deal with the language. You can start the process, and you can help. You can give yourself a head start by getting involved now to learn the language. Learn the language that the Tanakh is written in. Okay, and you may want to go further even into some other languages. You may want to go further into Aramaic. You may want to go further into some other languages. However, it is important for you to be able to embrace the language so that you can simply understand what is already written. This will deepen your foundation in the Tanakh as you embrace the Hebrew language. Now, for those of you that want, I mentioned that I will be starting a Hebrew class here, and we can definitely do that. If you let me know that you're interested and that you will attend, I will definitely do that, and I will begin that, and I will teach it in a way that will be very understandable, but yet and still it will be effective and quick, okay? And not like we're going to do like the whole leave no child behind thing, but you know, we want everyone to learn and everyone to be on the same page. And also too, what I have connected with this, it's going to be an actual Hebrew practice, an online Hebrew practice session, where what we've learned, we actually put it in practice with one another online. If you want to be involved with that, you got to let me know if you want to be involved. But this is something that we definitely need to do in order to strengthen the very foundation of what we have in the Tanakh. You have to. These days are about to get so crazy, and your foundation has to be solid. Your foundation has to be secure. Notice what it reads here. In Psalms, I'm going to highlight it for you so that you can embrace it a little bit more fully. Psalms 12 and 6. Notice what it reads. The words of Yah are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So it's that word that you get a little closer to when you embrace the language that it is written in. And it is a wonderful, fascinating world. It is delicious to my soul, and I'm telling you, I want to bring you all with me. Those of you that are willing to go on that journey with me, I'm willing to take you there. So let's continue, because that is number one. That's going to be getting a understanding of the language. Okay? Getting an understanding of the language that the Tanakh is written in. That is good for strengthening your foundation and for establishing a solid and secure foundation. That way you can read the Tanakh with deeper understanding and know beyond the shadow of a doubt that what you're reading is true and what you're reading is real. The other thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to understand the context, okay, of the Tanakh itself. Meaning, I'm talking about geography, I'm talking about where it is in the world. To strengthen your understanding, you need to understand the Tanakh was not written in America. The Tanakh was not written with our modern day existence at its forefront. No, it was written for a people of that day and that time, which had an understanding, but the understanding that they had, it was of a different culture. In other words, we need to understand the context of the culture, and we're going to have to go back there in our considerations, okay, so that we really can grasp what the Tanakh is saying. There was a difference in culture. There was a difference in the way that they looked at marriage. There's a difference in the way that they looked at family, because these are what we would call today Near Eastern cultures or even African cultures. So it's one of those things that we have to come to grips with, that the Tanakh was not written in America, wasn't written in Chicago, wasn't written in New York. No, it was written long ago in a time and in a place that's far from us, and we have to go back and embrace, for the sake of understanding, we have to embrace the context, meaning that we have to come to some understandings that yes, this is not an American book. The Bible is not an American book. God is not an American. God is not an American. The Most High is not an American. The Most High is separate and beyond any political system of this earth, okay? And the Most High himself, he is the ruler of all kingdoms of the earth. He is not an American. He is not European. He is not, whatever, British, whatever. He is not of this world in that sense. Notice what it reads here. And how intertwined the Tanakh is, even with these, you want to call them Near Eastern cultures. Look, we're talking about Africa and we're talking about the East, okay? Let me go straight down the middle. We're talking about Africa and we're talking about the East. Why? Because that's in the Tanakh. That's where it's at. And by the way, for those of you that do not know it, listen, everyone is saying it in the political arenas. They all know it. The UN knows it. Everyone knows it, that Africa is the future, okay? Africa is the future, and people now are scurrying, trying their best to connect with Africa, okay, so that they can be a part of what's coming next. It has already been rumored that Africa is going to be the next superpower, and people are trying to get their paws on as much of Africa as possible, and many of us have been sleeping on it, but it is a hot spot that the whole world is going to be looking at, including the Most High. Notice what's read here in Psalms 68 and 31. It reads, "Princes shall come out of Egypt," which is in Africa, "and Ethiopia," which is in Africa. "Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto Elohim. Sing unto Elohim, O kingdoms of the earth. O sing praises unto Yah, Selah." So these are things that the Most High is doing. Notice what is also here in Amos 9 and 7. "Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Are you not as the Ethiopian unto me, O children of Israel, says Yah? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Kir? What I love about the Most High is He is involved with all the nations of the earth, but it is Israel that it is most dear to His heart, right? You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Yeah, I deal with other people, right? I can deal with other people. I can deal with other people just like you deal with other people, but not everyone knows you. You go to the store, you pay for your food at the counter. That doesn't mean that that guy knows you just because he said hello and you had a transaction. No, the Most High deals with other nations, but He has not given Himself to be known by the other nations like He's given Himself to be known of us. So notice here, yeah, He's very involved with other nations, but it's the children of Israel that He has given Himself unto and established a deeper relationship with. Continuing onward, we understand some things about what's happening in the world, and it's very true that yes, Africa is definitely the future. If someone were to be wise, they would think to themselves, if I can't go to live there, perhaps I can invest in what's going on in Africa, and yes, perhaps I can be enriched by what's going on in Africa. Moving right along, there's something else that I definitely want to mention, because we also have to understand, and maybe I can work in the question that was asked earlier. Here's something else that you're going to have to do in order to deepen your relationship with the Tanakh and to deepen your foundation. You're going to have to understand and really embrace the timings of the Most High and the cycles of time as they relate to the Mo'adim. What are the Mo'adim? Well, let's take a look at it in Scripture. Let's pull up some Scripture, okay? And it begins with us. It begins at Bereshit chapter 1, verse number 14. We read this just the other day. And Elohim said, let there be lights, okay, in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And I pointed out, even the last time that we read this scripture, I pointed out that the Most High, He set lights in the firmaments. Now, just so that we do not, get any misunderstanding, it is the simple word here, ma'or, okay, luminaries, okay. There's also ma'orot. These are luminaries for the heavens. These are the stars, hakokavim. These are the stars of heaven. And He said, well, I want there to be lights in the firmament to divide the day from the night. And so the sun is one light, and the reflective light of the moon is also another light. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days. Well, the first purpose, please keep this in mind, when you look at Bereshit, Genesis, chapters 1 and 2, the Most High is actually establishing a new purpose for the physical substance that's already in existence. B-A-R-A-H, bara, this is not creating something ex nihilo or something out of nothing. No, this is actually taking what is already there and repurposing it. The actual true creation of physical existence is something that's alluded to in Job, right? In Job, beginning at the 38th chapter, the Most High talks about creation, right? In its true sense of being created. But Genesis is the actual purposing and reshaping and reforming of what was there into that He wants it to be. In other words, He's reestablishing order and giving purpose. That's found throughout basically the majority of the uses of bara, B-A-R-A in Hebrew. You'll find out that it's not creating something out of nothing. It's taking what's there and repurposing it, right? Well, when you take a look at that and understand that simple principle, He's taking the lights, okay, and He's saying, here is your purpose. The first of your purposes is not going to be just about the days and the years. No, your first purpose, luminaries, are to be for a sign. Okay? For signs. Let them be for signs. Okay? And then for seasons, and then for days, and then for years. Now, the question came about, and maybe I can work this in here now, that, hey, how do we, let me make sure I get it correctly. How do we observe the new moon without looking at the moon itself? Well, please keep in mind that when the Most High mentions that he put lights in the firmament, the moon is definitely one of those, and it is the moon itself that the Most High said, hey, at the new moon, you're going to celebrate the new moon. Well, how do we know when a moon is new or not? Now, there are two different ways of going about this, okay? One of the methods is more Enochian in nature, in that you calculate out 30 days, but this is somewhat redundant because you have to count it out 30 days from the first appearance of the moon. So either way, you have to watch the moon, okay? But basically, the Enochian system uses calculations, while the other system uses the actual observance of the moon. Okay? Now, please keep in mind, tongue in cheek, I know this can get controversial. Someone will say, no, you're supposed to do it this way, you're supposed to do it that way. When you take a look and understand that the new moon, once the new moon, there's also another way of doing this, which I should remember. It's my understanding that when the new moon arrives, the moon is also visible in the daytime. Okay? In other words, it will be visible in the sun. What we know of at night is that, there will be darkness for basically 3 days, and then you'll see a sliver of light, and that is the new moon. Well, let me just say tongue-in-cheek, there is no problem with you looking at that and establishing that, yes, light has been seen, and yes, the moon can be seen, even in the daytime with the sun. So, yes, it is a new moon. I know when it comes to the calendar, things can get really, really controversial because some want to do it the more Enochian way, which is to calculate out 30 days. And then you skip one day for the equinoxes, and then you move forward. Well, I mean, it can get controversial, okay? So at this particular point, until I learn otherwise, I'm going to say that, there is no harm. And I know when you get into the whole Qumran thing and the priest family of Qumran having an issue with those who were in Jerusalem who wanted to use the lunar calendar. Using the lunar calendar is not what we do, okay? We don't use the lunar calendar, but rather we use the solar calendar. And technically speaking, now I'm getting into the subject of calendars, which could take us way out of the way. It could take us way into many things. But there are different calendral systems that some of them are just solar, some of them are lunar, others are solar-lunar, okay? Others are lunar-solar. So it's like, it can get confusing. It can definitely be quite hairy. However, my understanding is that when the sliver of the new moon is seen at night, the moon is also seen during the day. Okay, the moon is also seen during the day, but at this particular point, the controversy, even with some of the ancient Jewish writings, even in the Talmud, basically it mentions how individuals would superimpose their ideas about when the holy days should be. And so that became the thing that they were not to do. And sighting of the new moon was also involved in that, where discourse between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Jonathan, and it was just, I don't know, kind of sad. But anyway, Let me not continue talking about that. Let me just move forward here, and perhaps if you need, I'll give you a more definitive answer on that. I know I'm everywhere with it, but I'll give you even a more definitive answer just a little bit later. But the Most High wants us to understand that we need to be connected with what he is doing in his time, which means we have to watch the Moedim. And it does begin with the new moon. It begins with the new moon. And looking at it, there is another scripture here that I want to go to. And as I take a look here, Psalms, let's see here. Do you see it? Nope, you don't see it. Now you do. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast days. Now, I had a new moon celebration on this past, I believe it was Monday. And so we did celebrate last Wednesday, last Yom Revi'i, we had a new moon celebration. For this was a statute for Israel and the law of the Elohim of Yaakov. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out throughout the land of Mitzrayim, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from his burden, and so forth and so on. But notice what is read here. Yes, the new moons. Yes, the feasts, the holidays. We need to connect ourselves with what the Most High is doing in this time, which means a recognition, if not a celebration, okay, of these times. We have no temple. We're supposed to present our sacrifices to the temple. We have no temple to bring our sacrifices to. We don't even have anything to sacrifice, right? So yeah, there's, in my opinion, there's a lot of the feasts that we cannot keep, right? We cannot keep them because we do not have a temple, and we do not have, the wherewithal to present a sacrifice. So with that being the case, nonetheless, we can be mindful of the Moedim and cooperate and do what the scripture says. Offer up the calves of your lips. In other words, since we don't have calves and bulls and goats, yes, you can offer up from your mouth. You can offer up the praise and offer up the words unto the Most High, which according to his word, you're offering up the calves of your lips. In other words, what you speak is like a sacrifice unto the Most High. And we flow with that as well. So let me move right along, because we need to understand the Moedim, the cycles, right, of his timing, and be evolved. And it starts with the new moon. And I know that since we're here in exile, it's difficult for us to actually celebrate things as they are intended to be, because you have to work. Okay, on the new moon, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to pull yourself. It's a feast day, basically, right? It is a feast day. And, of course, on Shabbat as well, you're not supposed to work. So it's a holiday. All right, so the fourth thing that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to understand the law and the covenant structure that is in the law. In other words, we're going to have to get comfortable with looking and understanding the law and understanding the covenant and approaching the Most High from a covenant level. Many times we don't do that. We don't approach the Most High in light of the covenant. We may say that we have a covenant with him, but we're able to stand upon the covenant as a legal document and as a legal agreement. Let me just show you a couple of scriptures that relate to that. One, we know about Jeremiah 31, right? But it talks also about the covenant after verse number 31. Many people look at Jeremiah 31 and 31, where it says, "Behold, the days come, saith Yah, that I will make a new covenant." This, by the way, is, again, it's clumsily put here, a new covenant in the KJV, but the word Chadesh actually means renewed. It means renewed, and this should really say a renewed covenant with the house of Israel, with the house of Judah. But the verse we want to emphasize is verse number 33. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days. It says, yeah, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Okay? And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yah. For they shall all know me, from the least to the greatest of them, says Yah. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more. Also, in taking a look, Leviticus 18:5, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments. If a man do, he shall live in them. I am Yah. And what is interesting here is, they look at verses of scripture, like for instance, when Martin Luther nailed his thesis to the door, okay, and said, man shall live by faith. And that, of course, was the start of the Protestant movement. And, of course, not only that, but some have later picked that up and said, oh, this is the word of faith movement. And so they began to have hyper faith, blab it and grab it and name it and claim it. And so now their faith is something that's like, hey, if I got faith, ooh, but they miss this verse here, and they completely forget about this verse. It says, ye shall keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them, for I am Yah. They took one place where it said, man shall live by faith. And they say, see, you're supposed to live by faith. But also here it reads that if you do the law, you shall also live. Okay, so it's important for us to embrace the laws, statutes, and the testimonies of the Most High. Now, listen, family, that's easier said. And as I go down the home stretch, I'm really trying to get done with this really quickly. It's easier said, just follow the law, statutes, and the commandments. But when you get ready to do something, do you kind of like, let me see what Yah says about that. Let me see what the Tanakh says about that. How do I go about this? Okay. I'm going to plant a garden. Got a new house. I'm going to plant a garden. Well, what does the Most High say about planting a garden in a new home? What about that? What about the 3-year period where you wait 3 years? See, there's lots of things that affect our normal everyday life. Lots of things that affect our life that we should be following. Okay? But they're in the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. So we need to embrace this. Okay, and also there's another reason. Let me mention this because this really comes to mind. I saw, and you know what? Let me take just a little bit of a break, and I'll be right back. All right, to bring this to a close real quick, I saw an excerpt from an interview that someone had with an ex-witch. I think she was an ex-satanic witch, but she was an ex-witch. Well, what does that have to do with the law, statutes, and the commandments? Well, okay, hold on. This ex-witch stated, she said, there are certain people that cannot be cursed. They said, what? Who are these people that cannot be cursed? And she said, if someone not just believes in the Most High, but follows the Most High and is about their business with the Most High and are basically in there secure with the Most High, she said, you can't curse him. You cannot curse him. Okay? This is why it reads that we that dwell in the secret place of the Most High, we are protected and we are covered in the presence of the Most High. Okay? And His glory, His Spirit, His presence is our rear guard, protecting your six, watching your six, because hey, you're looking at other things. He's protecting your six. He's protecting what's behind you. Okay? With that being the case, you understand that it's important for us to follow the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. Okay? So that we are no listen, I'm not talking about getting so nitpicky that like one woman, this is back in the day, right? I was on this prayer call in line, and she calls in for me to pray for her, but then she has to stop now that she's got me on the line, and now she has to pray to see if I'm the one that's supposed to pray for her after she called in for prayer. And then she wanted to pray again to see if it was the will of God for. It's like, man, it's like, lady, you kind of need some assistance here. It's not that deep. You called in for prayer, you got me on the phone. Well, I'm not saying that you got to be nitpicky like that. Oh, let me check the law to see if I can put sugar in my coffee or salt in my. No. No, that's not necessary, right? But the things that are written that we need to consult with the Most High for, let's make sure that we're doing it the right way. So yes, following the law, statutes, and the commandments is necessary. And basically this is saying, hey, make sure that you double down on it. Make sure that you are walking circumspectly before the Most High. That's all we're saying. Not saying get crazy with it. Not saying, hey, let me get a sign from the Most High as to if I'm supposed to boil this egg or that egg. No, it's not that deep. You're going to go nuts that way. Stop it. Let's also take a look then at something else. One of the fifth thing that we're looking at, two more to go after this, is that we're looking at the prophetic outlay of what the Most High has given us in Deuteronomy 28. Okay, where he references the whole exile, and he references where, in fact, we can even go there real quick, because this relates to our present stance and where we're at. Notice what it reads here. This is Deuteronomy 28, 47, and 48. It reads, because you serve not Yah your Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of things, therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger. So what does that admonish us to do? To serve him with joyfulness and with gladness of heart. Okay, this is why I mentioned this even about the whole forgiveness piece. Joyfulness and gladness of heart, fulfilling the law, doing what's right. This is what is needed. So you want to remember to obey, but obey with a joyful heart and a glad heart, for the abundance of all things. Okay? Because he's going to give you all things that you need in its timing. Well, continuing this further, just a couple more things I want to mention. I want to mention that there is a prophetic return. He is going to return us. Continue to worship him in joy and gladness, okay? Otherwise, you will have to serve your enemies longer. Fulfill the law with joy and gladness. Otherwise, you'll have to work for your enemies longer, okay? Also, daily, make sure that you are rehearsing scripture. Make sure that you are rehearsing wisdom from Proverbs. Make sure that you're rehearsing portions of the Tanakh on a daily basis, okay? Let me just hit some of those with some scriptures real quick. Notice what it reads in Proverbs 9 and 10. Fear Yah. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Okay? Also Psalms 1 and 1. We know what that says. Blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the ungodly. It's been a while since we did that song, right? Nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of Yah, and he meditates day and night. These words, this is Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7, and these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. So again, this is something that's supposed to be with us. It's something that's supposed to be with us continually. And so we flow therein, we flow with it. Okay. All right. Getting to one of the last pieces of the foundation, number 7, is simply this. You have to change your place wherever you abide. You have to let part of that place, whether it be a corner, whether it be a closet, no matter if part of your downstairs area, part of your attic, whatever it is, let it be a house of study. Put your books there and make it a house of study where you study the Tanakh. Have an area for study for the Tanakh. Okay? Let's go into just a couple of scriptures with that, and then we're going to be done with this. And thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. Malachi 3 and 16. Notice what it reads. Then they that feared Yah spake often one to another, and Yah hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before them. Don't think that the Most High doesn't hear what you say about him. For them that feared Yah and that thought upon his name, he wrote a book of remembrance for them. Okay? So you are co-authors of a book. What you're saying is going into a book, and you're co-authors of the book of remembrance. So brothers and sisters, these are just 7 levels that we need to focus on in order to have a deeper walk in the Tanakh, so that your foundation is more established and your foundation is deeper, right? Because we're getting ready to get into some turbulent, crazy times, and it is your foundation that is going to keep you standing. It is your foundation that's going to keep you safe and secure. It's your foundation that's going to give you the ability to endure. You're going to see some crazy stuff, and you're going to witness some things that are just unbelievable. But know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you holding to your foundation is going to be salvation and peace and provision and protection. All the protection that you need. I'm Melky Uriel. Hey, going to the next segment, we're going to check with you all to see what questions you may have in the chat room. Be right back. I want to ask you a question. Would you pick up a French dictionary in order to help you define Spanish? Would you pick up a book on physics to help you understand the simplicities of cooking a recipe? No, you would not. You need the right reference material for the particular job at hand. And the Most High has given us a job of living the life according to the laws, statutes, and commandments that He has given. Why do I bring up this dichotomy? Why do I bring up this question? Because that is what many of us are doing. We are using reference works that are Christian in origin, nature, and bias. And we're having to gain a purely Hebraic understanding from them. And this, my dear brothers and sisters, is insane. I'm looking, need your help. I'm looking to foster Hebraic scholarship. So we've started the Hebrew Scholar magazine, and with this, there's something for the entire family, but there's also a platform to be able to develop new, young, and budding scholars. We want scholars that are going to basically produce materials from our perspective with our truth that's for us, that's by us, and that's going to benefit us and help us throughout all generations. I'm Melky Uriel. I want you to subscribe to the magazine. I need you to subscribe to the magazine. We want to reach our first goal of 500 subscribers. And then, of course, we want to go to 1,000 and move on from there. But bottom line of it is, we need this for the nation, for the community. We need this for Israel. We need our own scholars. And it's time that we began to invest in our own scholarship. So help us out. Go to thehebrewscholar.com. We'll see you there. Shalom. Excuse me. Woo. Glad to be back with you. I got a little choked up. I was drinking some coffee. Kind of went down the wrong way. And let me go into the chat room as mentioned. And what we're going to do is I'm going to open it up for questions. Yeah, we'll open it up for questions. Those of you that may want to ask a question or two, now is the time. The phone line is open. So yes, the phone line is open, and so we want you to ask your question. Now, one scripture that I wanted to bring into play, I don't know if I did when I was addressing the question that Elimelech had. Let's go there real quick. It's Numbers 10 and 10. Oh man, yeah, that's really jacked up. All right, let me do it this way because my keyboard is just going left, and I'm in need of perhaps getting a new one. But hey, there's no way I can do it right this moment. This hasn't happened like this for quite a while, so I guess it's time, huh? I guess it's time to get a new one. But going to the book of Numbers, going to chapter 10. And finding verse number 10, this is what in fact, I'm going to show it to you, okay? Give me just a second. It says, also in the days of your gladness and in your solemn assemblies and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow the trumpets over your burnt offerings and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am Yah, your Elohim. So basically, we are to let's see here. This deals with a lot about, blow the trumpet, but let's see here. There was also, yeah, the sacrifices for peace offerings and the memorial, in the beginning of your months, that's the new moon, you shall blow the trumpet. So it basically, it's painting the picture that we have to observe. Okay, you have to observe and know when the new moon comes. You look for the sliver of fresh new moon, and it would then be reported to the priest. Okay, otherwise you're using a method that is solely about calculations. Okay, and some suggest that that is the more Enochian method. If you're using the Enochian calendar, like I said, it gets interesting. It gets a little sticky. But hey, we will just simply continue here. Let me see if there are any questions. I'm checking for questions for me. Yes, Miss H says, should we just email you? Yes, please email me. Don't leave me a message in the chat because I'm not able to just, write down everyone's name right now. But yes, definitely. Okay, George Evans asked, okay, do we have to pray facing the east? And why is that? Well, keep this in mind. I could go to 1 Kings 8 and the dedication of the temple where Solomon himself was praying unto the Most High. Okay, and here's the thing. The temple was a house of prayer, and if you couldn't pray in the temple, for those that were away from the temple, they prayed toward the temple, connecting themselves with the temple and with the presence of the Most High as it relates to our ancestors and to the temple itself. Being in exile, we turn towards the east to pray because that's where our temple is, that's where Jerusalem is. And so, we turn towards the east to pray. So it is connected with the dedication of the temple and how when the temple was built, it was a way of connecting with the Most High and the temple, so that if we were in exile, if we were away, that the Most High would forgive our sins when we turned toward the east and prayed toward the temple. It is a connection between us and the covenant of the Most High as it relates to the temple of the Most High. So that is why we turn toward the east. Let's see here. Did I get? And hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, Terry. Terry said that was a much needed segment. Thank you guys. Thank you. Let's see. I'm trying to get all the questions. If I should miss a question, please restate it. Okay? Please restate your question. I prefer wireless keyboards. I really do. I prefer wireless. Though the USB may be a little bit more. I don't know. This is the first problem I've had like this. Really, this is the first problem I've had. So I can say that I prefer wireless. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you for asking the question, my sister Yehudith. Looking for questions for me, okay? Exactly. Basically, my brother Adrian, you are 100% correct. We face towards the temple, okay? We face towards the east because we're west of the temple. All right, looks like we got the questions out of the way for that. Guess what? We're going into other segments. Yes, we are. And we shall return after these here messages.
E-meter, Scientology. Digambara sect of Jainism believes that complete renunciation of material possessions, including clothing, is essential for spiritual purity. Digambara monks live without clothes.
So these monks live without clothes. Yeah.
Considering themselves to be clad in the environment itself. This practice symbolizes their detachment from worldly desires and rejection of personal ownership.
Yeah.
The only items Digambara monks carry are a peacock feather broom to gently remove insects from their path and a water gourd. Unlike monks, lay followers of the Digambara sect wear normal clothing and lead relatively conventional lives.
So these monks, I don't know, maybe that's why we haven't seen them on television, but wow, they don't wear clothes at all. Amunapua, y'all not supposed to hear me eating chips?
This is rooted in the teachings of Lord Mahavira, the 24th Tirthankara of Jainism. In regions like Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Madhya Pradesh, Digambara Jains maintain strict adherence to their ascetic traditions. Their monastic lifestyle remains one of the most austere religious practices in the world. Kapparot, Judaism. Kapparot is a Jewish ritual performed before Yom Kippur, where a live chicken is swung around a person's head to symbolically transfer sins. The chicken is then slaughtered and ideally given to the poor as food. The practice is most commonly observed in Orthodox and Haredi Jewish communities.
So you wave a chicken over a person's heads, which is supposed to, okay, so the sacrifice of sin, when you take a look at it, what is supposed to happen? Well, there was a goat. You had two goats, and you all know the story. One was sacrificed before the Most High, but the other one was allowed to escape, called the scapegoat, right? But that goat actually went to a particular, was said to go to a particular being. I'm going to say one of the B'nai Elohim, excuse me, and that being would then receive the sins, right? Some traditions have them pushing the goat off of a cliff, and so you get rid of the sin, and you kill the goat, and so you get rid of that sin by killing the goat. But you give these chickens that supposedly now have the sins, the heinous sins and crimes of these people, which, by the way, are many. You now have people eating the chicken that supposedly received the sin. I'm sorry, but that's just crazy. It really is.
In recent years, animal rights activists have protested Kapparot, arguing that it is cruel and unnecessary. Some Jewish groups have substituted money for chickens, waiving cash before donating it to charity. The ritual is accompanied by the recitation of Psalms chapter 107 verses 17 to 20 and Job chapter 33 verses 23 to 24. Controversies have arisen when abandoned or mistreated chickens were found after mass Kapparot ceremonies. Despite opposition, many traditionalist groups continue to defend the practice as a meaningful religious tradition. Exorcism, Christianity. Exorcism is the practice of expelling evil spirits from a possessed person or place, commonly associated with the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. Only ordained priests, with permission from a bishop, are authorized to perform solemn exorcisms. Before conducting an exorcism, the church requires medical examinations to rule out mental illness. The rite involves prayers, holy water, and the invocation of Jesus Christ's name to drive out demons. While exorcisms have been documented for centuries, skeptics argue that they are often misinterpretations of psychological disorders. The Catholic Church maintains strict guidelines to prevent superstitious abuse of the practice. Despite its controversial nature, exorcism remains an active ritual in many Christian communities. Cases of alleged possession continue to make headlines, fueling both faith and fear in modern times. Temple garments, Mormonism.
Well, we could talk about more of this crazy stuff, but you know what? Okay. Man. See, I don't know if I should open up this can of worms. However, yeah, no, it is a hot mess. So you're gonna take a chicken and wave it around somebody's head, and I don't know if they have to pronounce their sins as you're waving the chicken around, but then you go give that chicken to someone else and say, "Hey, I made some chicken for you, some chicken salad." No, I'm sorry. It's a hot mess. Why would you give someone your sinful hand-me-downs? It is not right. It is not right. But anyway, you know what? We're just going to go into a different segment. Be right back. Yes. So, brothers and sisters, yes. So, looking at some of your comments, the whole, it's almost like, to my sister's question, Jacqueline, she says, well, mental illness is one of the first classes that or one of the first courses that you take. Theology is closely associated with psychology for those reasons. There's a lot of people in seminaries who end up taking a psychology major as opposed to a theology, or having a minor in psychology with a major in theology for those reasons, because of the psycho-spiritual dynamic. Okay, the psycho-spiritual dynamic is that, I'll just simply explain it to you this way. We're physical and we're spiritual, but there is common ground, there's mid-ground in the area that we call the soul. The soul acts as a bridge that can go from the physical planes into the spiritual, and vice versa, from the spiritual planes into the natural, and you need the soul in order to do that, or the combination between the spiritual and the physical. So with that being the case, there is a place where the spiritual bridges into that which affects the brain as electrochemical, okay? Which is why certain feelings and emotions have attached with them the ability to create dopamines and other hormones in the body, and vice versa. You induce those hormones into the body and you can change how someone feels. That's because it is a psycho-spiritual bridge, okay? It's a two-way street, and with that being the case, it's very true. And Ben Naphtali, they do say, give it to the goyims, give them, our sinful chickens, give them, basically it's like, hey, they ought to be glad to receive our dirty draws. So, but anyway, hey, here is Hebrew Money. All right, I wanted to speak with you about Hebrew money for the reasons that there's something that I think is going to come down the pike, or what is that? I mentioned it before. It looks like Trump is going to try to get the U.S. out of its multi-trillion-dollar deficit by changing the evaluation of gold. And it's my understanding that they're going to use a system, if not using Bitcoin itself, they're going to use this new USD currency to back, if you will, what they're doing, but then have Bitcoin back that. So long story short, it is believed that that he is going to do this. Well, if he's going to do that, how is that going to affect us and our money? So let's talk about it real quick. And this guy has something to say about it. And let's hear what he is saying, because if he does this, that means, for me, or at least the way I can see it, I don't know if my brother Adrian wants to weigh in on this, but that would make Bitcoin more valuable, but also XRP more valuable if they do decide to do this. So let's pay attention here and let's hear what this guy has to say, because he is talking to us about it. Give us just a few minutes of your time, because if you have just a little bit set aside and you can buy some gold, and then Trump reevaluates gold and it goes sky high, you may be able to put lots of money in your pocket. Okay, but here we go.
Plan to fix our country's debt crisis, and it failed, and then he came up with a new plan. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you what happened, because probably 99% of Americans don't know what's going on. I'm going to explain to you the new plan. Whether it's going to work or not, I mean, that's up for debate, and you can be the judge of that. So here's the situation. The United States of America is in a serious debt crisis. The federal government is in debt of $37.2 trillion. Okay, so how did this happen? Honestly, it's quite simple, really. The government has a bad habit of spending more money than they have coming in. So here's the total debt building up to 2024. So 2025 hasn't finished yet. So I'll show you that one when it's available, but I assure you it's going to be more horrifying than this one. Okay, so how do you spend more money than you have coming in? The answer is easy. You borrow money to fund your overspending habits, and you go into debt. Okay, so how does the U.S. government borrow money? The government borrows money by issuing IOUs. They call them U.S. treasuries. So treasury bills, treasury notes, treasury bonds. So if you want to lend money to the U.S. government, you can purchase a U.S. treasury, and the government's going to pay you interest. So you can buy them, banks can buy them, institutions can buy them, foreign governments can buy them, anybody can buy them. Now, here's a big problem. The government needs to borrow so much money, $11 trillion over the next 12 months. $9 trillion to refinance old debts, and another $2 trillion on top of that to fuel the overspending. So they need to sell $11 trillion of U.S. treasuries. Okay, but what's going to happen if there's not enough people willing to lend money to the U.S. government? So you know what's going to happen? Then the government's going to have to offer a higher interest rate to attract enough lenders. So listen, it's going to be very simple. The U.S. government's going to auction off $11 trillion of U.S. treasuries, and they're going to hope that there's going to be enough people to buy them up at an interest rate of around 4%. But if there aren't enough people willing to lend the government $11 trillion at a 4% interest rate, then the U.S. government's going to have to offer a higher interest rate to attract more lenders. Maybe 4.25% or 4.5% or even 5% or even 6%. So essentially, if there's not enough demand for U.S. treasuries, then the interest rate's going to go up. And that's not going to be good for the U.S. government, because if the interest rate goes up, then the U.S. government needs to pay more interest expense to service their debts. So you just have to remember that on $37 trillion of debt, if the government needs to pay a higher interest rate by just 1%, then that would be $370 billion more a year in interest expense. And to put that into perspective, we spend about $850 billion a year on national defense. So it's not a small amount of money. So initially, President Trump's plan to solve the debt crisis was to balance the government's budget. So Trump had a campaign promise of reducing government spending, balancing our budgets, and paying down the national debts. And to spearhead the initiative, President Trump put Elon Musk in charge with Doge. So Elon Musk aimed to reduce government spending by $2 trillion a year, which, I mean, that would have been an enormous feat, considering that the government spends about $7 trillion a year. So I previously showed you the video clip of Musk saying this. You know, most of you have probably already seen it, so I'm not going to show you that nonsense again. So $2 trillion was a stretch goal, but Musk said that they had a good shot of cutting $1 trillion. However, cutting government spending by massive amounts would be problematic, so here's why. So federal government spending is a big component of our economy. So if we were to massively reduce government spending, then we would most likely have a severe recession. I mean, for crying out loud, this is how GDP is measured. The G is government spending. So if GDP falls drastically and we enter into recession, then the government would collect less tax revenue. And that would make the debt crisis even worse. And then debt to GDP would go through the roof. And then there would be consequences on the US dollar. But not only were there economic complications, but there was political pushback against Doge as well. Because the politicians and, of course, the inside beneficiaries, they want the money to continue flowing. The politicians, special interest, etc. You know the drill. And I don't know about you, but not to my surprise, Doge was an epic and colossal failure. But if you want to cite the official Doge website, which is on the government's website, you may take a look at this. You might be tricked into believing that Doge has saved us $205 billion. Like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money. Doge is doing amazing. Okay, yeah, the alleged $205 billion saved over the course of the next 10 years, which is not much. That's about $20 billion saved a year. So that's right. The savings amounts includes estimated and hypothetical savings on long-term leases and contracts. So you have to amortize that figure over the course of the years. And I don't even believe that $205 billion number to begin with anyways. I don't even think that's debatable anymore. Because not only do you have to amortize it, a lot of estimated or hypothetical savings were just straight out lies or errors. But to really give the skeptics the smoking gun, take a look at the deficit. So this is up to July of 2025. So the purple line is 2025, the green line is 2024. The government's deficit, or the government's overspending, year to date, is worse this year compared to the same time last year. So the government didn't cut expenses by $2 trillion nor by $1 trillion. The government's overspending has gotten worse this year compared to last year. Okay, so President Trump's original plan to reduce government spending, to balance the books, and to pay down national debt, it failed. So President Trump came up with a new plan. And again, here's the setup. So the federal government has all this debt, and they have to refinance $9 trillion, and they have to raise a new $2 trillion on top. So will there be enough demands for U.S. treasuries to soak up all this supply at lower interest rates? So most people believe that there's not going to be, and that includes the government, so they know they have a problem. Therefore, President Trump needed a way to increase demand for U.S. treasuries. If not, then the government's going to have to offer a higher interest rate to attract enough lenders, which means higher interest payments for the U.S. government. So here's President Trump's new plan, and you can let me know if you think that this is going to work or not. So the Genius Act passed in Congress, and President Trump signed it into law in July. So President Trump is supporting cryptocurrencies in order to create more demand for treasury bills. So I'm going to explain. Okay, so if you're not familiar with cryptocurrencies, here's how it works. So let's just say that you want to buy Bitcoin.
Yep.
Now, how is this all going to work?
Yep.
So first, you need to exchange your US dollars for cryptocurrency, right? So let's just say that you sign up for an account on a crypto exchange called the Clear Value Crypto Exchange, which is fictitious. Please don't Google that. So let's just say that you want to buy $100,000 in US dollars worth of Bitcoin. And let's just say that you do that. So 100,000 of US dollars is going to leave your bank account, right? And now you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin in your account on the Clear Value Crypto Exchange. Now, let's just say that Bitcoin goes up by 20%. So, yay, right? And now you want to sell your Bitcoin, but you don't want to cash out for US dollars back to your bank accounts. So let's just say that you want to leave your $120,000 in your crypto accounts. So maybe you're hoping that Bitcoin falls in price so that you can rebuy it cheaper. Maybe you just want to hold some of your money in crypto, but you don't want to rebuy Bitcoin or any other altcoins right now. Then in this situation, you're going to sell your $120,000 worth of Bitcoin for $120,000 worth of stable coins. So a stable coin is a digital representation of a US dollar. So in your clear value crypto accounts, you're going to be holding $120,000 worth of stable coins, maybe USDC or USDT. Okay, so you know how back in the days, the US dollar was backed by gold. So it's going to be the same concept. One stable coin is backed by one US dollar or equivalents. And of course, this was based on faith and trust. But now the Genius Act requires each stablecoin to be backed by US dollars or short-term treasuries, which are treasury bills. Okay, so what's this achieve? This creates more demand for treasury bills. So the concept is, if the cryptocurrency market grows, then there's going to be more need for stablecoins. And if there are more stablecoins in existence, then there's going to be more demand for treasury bills. And if there's more demand for treasury bills, then it's going to keep interest rates on T-bills low. And then the government will be able to borrow money at a cheaper rate. But the question is, will this create a meaningful amount of demand for US treasury bills? I'd say enough to move the needle. So the cryptocurrency market right now is worth about $4 trillion. And you can see the growth of crypto in this graph. Bitcoin represents a little more than half of that, and stable coins represent only about $280 billion of the markets. Now, you can make the argument that that's not going to be enough to push the needle in terms of demand in the treasury bill markets. But others will make the argument that the crypto market has been growing rapidly, as you can tell by the chart. Okay, so this is going to create demand and lower interest rates for shorter duration treasuries, for T-bills. And of course, President Trump has been pressuring the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates as well. But the Fed has more control over interest rates on the shorter duration treasuries, so treasury bills, not 30-year treasury bonds. Okay, so how will the government increase demand for longer term treasuries, such as 30-year treasury bonds, in order to keep interest rates low? So one solution would be for the Federal Reserve to print the money, step in and buy the treasury bonds. But that would be seen by the world as a sign of desperation, and that would accelerate the loss of faith in the US dollar, and de-dollarization would intensify. Therefore, this would be the last option. The Federal Reserve would be the buyer of last resort. Now, this is where gold comes into the picture. So I'm going to give you two scenarios. One or both may happen, or maybe none will happen. So you could be the judge. So word on the streets is that President Trump's going to issue gold-backed treasuries. So please don't make the mistake. We're not talking about a gold-backed system. It's not, the dollar being backed by gold. So there's an argument that President Trump may issue US Treasury bonds that are backed by gold. So it would work like this. The government asks you to lend them money, let's just say $4,000. And then they'll pay you back 1 ounce of gold in 30 years and in physical gold. So it would be a zero coupon convertible to gold at maturity. Okay, so why would the government do this? It's because they would be able to raise desperately needed money right now, and they wouldn't have to pay interest because they're going to pay you gold upon maturity. So this idea of gold-backed treasuries is coming from Judy Shelton. So Judy Shelton was Trump's economic advisor during his first term. So Shelton was actually nominated to the Federal Reserve, but she was rejected by Congress by a vote of 47 to 50 in the Senate in 2020. So the Senate rejected Shelton because she was an advocate of gold, which takes away power from the Federal Reserve. Because the Federal Reserve doesn't like gold because they can't print gold. Now, here's the second scenario involving gold. So the US government holds 261 million troy ounces of gold. So on the books, it's officially valued at $42.22 a troy ounce. But the market value of gold right now is above $3,400 a troy ounce. So you could think of it as like an unrealized gain. So if Trump revalues gold to market value or even a higher price, which he can, then the Federal Reserve is required to print money, the difference, and then give it to the US Treasury. Now, a good question is this far-fetched? This whole idea. Well, I'll tell you this. The U.S. government has already done this before. And gold revaluation does not require congressional approval. So President Trump can do this like literally whenever he wants. So word on the streets is that it would be most logical to revalue gold at $15,000 a troy ounce. So that would give the government $4 trillion just free and clear. So that's $4 trillion less of U.S. Treasury bonds that they would need to sell. And Trump, he could use that money to fuel his initiatives. And he could even use some of that money to pay down the national debts, claiming that he delivered on his campaign promise. So whatever he's going to do with gold, people are expecting him to go really big next year. So our country's 250th year anniversary is going to be on July 4th, 2026. A lot of people are expecting something to happen, during that time. Now, I just want to bring this to your attention. So this debt crisis, it threatens us with higher interest rates, and that creates a major fiscal challenge for the U.S. governments, right? But here's another very important aspect. So our country is trying to bring manufacturing back home, which is, that's another very important initiative of President Trump. But the problem is that we cannot rebuild our manufacturing sector in the U.S. if interest rates are high. So if you want to build factories, equipment, infrastructure, it's going to require financing, and it's not feasible with higher interest rates. So let me know if you think President Trump's plan is going to work to tackle the debt crisis. But I just want to say this. I want to end with this. So President Trump's plan, these whole ideas of gold and crypto, they're not solutions to the problem. The problem is that the federal government just spends too much money. They have an overspending problem. So crypto, Bitcoin, how the government's going to try to use them, it's just to stall time. It's just to buy time and keep the show going. That's honestly what's happening here. So I'll keep you updated on the whole situation. Please subscribe. Thank you for the support, and I wish you a very nice day. Take care. President Trump had a plan.
So, okay, so here's where I weigh in on this. Number one, it's a matter of, like you said, even that is not the solution, okay? Even that is not the solution to the plan. Until we have, I firmly believe this, until we have a system set up on the kingdom's idea of what finances should be, as we find in the Tanakh, nothing else is going to work. Nothing else is going to work until we do it like the Most High says, and until we actually have our own currency, aka crypto. I don't think that we're going to be able to see a truly prosperous economic system the way that the Most High wants it to be, because it's not the right system. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work at all. These people are out for their own greed. They're out for their own interests. They're out for their own, and them and their own families. They're out for their own well-being. And so it's just one of those things where they keep manipulating everything to keep the poor people poor, to keep the rich getting richer. And it's just, they're just worsening what's already there. And it's not a solution. It is not a solution at all. And I agree with you, Yehudith. She says manufacturing will not return in most of our lifetimes because they demolished many of the factories for housing developments. And not only that, like they're saying, with the interest rates being so high, it's one of those things where you're like, hey, I don't want to build here. Because the tax system, it's crazy what they do here. I don't want to build here, right? And then if you say the wrong thing under Trump, he'll end up persecuting you and trying to get you, it's just, politically, this is not a good place to be. Economically, it's not a good place to be. And until we have our own system set up, I don't think it is ever going to be I don't think it's ever going to be what the Most High wants us to experience, okay, until we put His system in place. So, with that being the case, hey, I wanted you to see what Trump was planning. He plans on reevaluating gold perhaps sometime next year, and I agree, that it needs to be ripped off. But that would mean putting... Excuse me, that would mean putting the rich people at a disadvantage. You know, putting the lawmakers at a disadvantage, putting the rich people at a disadvantage, and you know, and giving us an equal playing ground, and that would just be too. That would be too dangerous, too detrimental to their system, right? And I agree, Terry. The system is over, but they know it, but they don't want to act like they know it. They're in denial right now, right? They are in denial big time. So, anyway, hey, that's the end of that segment. We're getting ready to make a move into the next segment. Be right back. Our brother Adrian has a positive announcement for us. Where are you at, my brother? Where are you at? Are you going to call in, or is it something that you want to post in the chat room? And let's see here. Amunapua, I hear you. She said, man, I am really thinking about moving to Barbados. Let me be blessed with some wealth. She says, I'm out of here. Hey, I don't blame you at all. I kind of have the same feeling. Brother Adrian, do you want to call in? I think you know the number that's scrolling right underneath me. And let's see here. It says he has a positive announcement. I'm going to wait before we go into the next segment for that announcement. Okay, I'll be patient until he calls. All right. Here he is. Shalom, peace and blessings, my brother.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Shalom.
Shalom, how are you?
I am blessed of the Most High. Hey, I'm glad that you are weighing in. So what's the announcement?
Well, this one, I don't want to put her business out there. Hey, what the lady say on In Living Cover? I'm not one to gossip. You ain't heard this from me. But we, Zakana, some people may call her Sister Leonie Cronin,
Yes.
is now the owner of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. She had to endure so much, but I walked through her with it. We found a way, and she is so elated.
Oh.
I just want to praise Yah because she wasn't afraid. She stuck it out, and now she is the owner of cryptocurrency. So
Nice.
say that, and praise Yah for that. I'll go ahead and hang
Yes.
up.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. No, that is good news. All praises to the Most High. Our sister bought some crypto. Congratulations, Leonie. Congratulations, my sister. Glad that you did. And yeah. It's. I think that we all should, right, as well as make other investments. I think that we all should. I know that some people say, well, don't buy stocks, right? But hey, I'm glad that you did get you some crypto. Crypto is the future, and hey, we need to watch and see what's going on. And I listen, guys, I've got my eye on Africa because I truly believe that with all the mineral wealth in Africa, I know for a fact that Africa is the future. Okay, and I think we should really watch and see what's going on with Africa. But you know what? We're going to talk about it a little bit later. It's now time to go into the next segment. Okay, so we'll be right back. Also, Africa has just, I think they unplugged 1.2 billion people from the World Wide Web, and now they have their own internet. So, I'm looking at what they are doing. Someone mentioned that Traore took his gold back from the IMF. All of these things are positive things, and Africa itself is uniting. Africa is uniting, and by the way, they have petitioned to have a united African, their united African nation states military, opposed to actually be here in the United States. Talk about a turn of the tables. Afronet is their internet. And it's just amazing what's happening. These are exciting times and crazy times that we live in. And it's just, hey, we need to keep our eye on it. And with that being the case, we're going to look at the controversial corner right here, right now, coming up.
From its continental African context, treating it as a civilization apart from the rest of Africa. This perspective, rooted in colonial-era biases, has obscured the obvious and enduring cultural connections that tie ancient Egypt to the diverse African cultures across all regions of the continent. From specific hairstyling tools and clothing to documented body art practices, customs and writing systems, concrete archaeological findings connect the ancient Egyptians to their African neighbors across West Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, Southern Africa, and North Africa. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus, writing in the 5th century BCE, described the hair of ancient Egyptians as woolly, using the term eulatrichus, the same term he employed to describe Ethiopian hair. The Metropolitan Museum of Art houses concrete evidence, an ivory hair comb decorated with rows of wild animals, dating to the late Naqada III period, around 3,200 to 3,100 BCE. This comb, measuring 5.5 centimeters in height and 3.9 centimeters in width, features the wide-toothed design characteristic of tools used for managing coarse, textured hair. The tomb of Maher-Pri, dating to the reign of Thutmose IV, around 1400 to 1390 BCE, provides concrete evidence of African hair practices in elite Egyptian society. His mummy, unwrapped by Georges Darassi in March 1901, revealed tightly curled woolly hair. His Book of the Dead depicts him with black skin. Historical photographs from 1885 to 1894 document traditional Oromo hairstyles in Jimma, Ethiopia, showing intricate braiding patterns remarkably similar to ancient Egyptian styles. The parting down the middle...
Now, do y'all see that? Do you see the hair? Do you? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's more than an afro, y'all.
Of Oromo women's hairstyles, lined with small braids, mirrors ancient Egyptian depictions. Proto-dynastic King Terra Netta in ancient Egypt wore his hair styled in braids, identical to traditional Oromo patterns. The Afar tribe, an ethnic Cushitic group, from the Horn of Africa, primarily Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti, has a unique centuries-old tradition where men style and maintain their hair with cow fat and butter. The Afar people of the Horn of Africa maintain hairstyling traditions that directly parallel ancient Egyptian practices, including the use of hair extensions and elaborate braiding techniques that match archaeological evidence from Egyptian tombs. The Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania traditionally wore dreadlocks as symbols of identity, strength, and spiritual connection. Before we continue, if I could quickly ask you to consider clicking the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. Also, click the like button and share this video on WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Share this video with other like-minded people. Thanks for the support. The Fulani, Fula, people of West Africa and the Sahel region developed braiding techniques that show remarkable similarity to ancient Egyptian styles. Recent archaeological analysis has identified Fulani braids in ancient Egyptian royal attire.
Okay, let me just stop here for a second. Why does this have to be a part of the conversation, and what significance is this? What people don't understand is that the controversy of removing Egypt from Africa is to say that we as a people, those of us who are melanated, that, well, there's no way that Egypt could belong to Africa. It really does belong to the quote-unquote Middle East. And that's because, you know, people from the Caucasus Mountains came over and they are the actual Egyptians. So there's no need to value anything that a melanated person has ever done and to further demonize us so that they can justifiably, basically they can justify genocide. That is why I bring this up. That is why it is necessary. It is because, again, I feel the pressure, I feel the pain of, you know, our people being profiled, our people being killed, our people being looked down upon. I've heard one guy even say, well, you know, they should just wipe them all out, let God sort them out. They should just wipe them all out. As if, you know, like, what have we done as a people that we are so wicked that you would say, well, just kill every last one of them and let the Most High sort them out. It's one of those things where you're like, I just don't believe this. You know, what have we done? What have we done that the entire world hates us and we have to fight for recognition? We've got to fight to be seen, fight to be understood, fight to even gain some sort of wealth and I mean, some sort of sense of respect. We have to fight tooth and nail for things that our ancestors built, things that our ancestors invented, and it's a shame, but we are forced to basically to speak against the lie, right? To controvert the lie that we're, you know, nothing good came out of Africa. Oh, that's just, you know, no. That's why this becomes an important conversation.
With curls coiled and layered with geometric precision, preserved through mummification. The Igbo people of Nigeria maintain braiding and hairstyling traditions that align with ancient Egyptian practices. Archaeological evidence from Igbo Ukwu, 660 to 1045 CE, shows bronze items depicting detailed hair patterns similar to those found in Egyptian art. According to Professor Catherine Acholonu, Igbo Ukwu in southeastern Nigeria is an important site that provides evidence of a lost ancient African civilization that also establishes Africa's connection.
To my sister Jacqueline, yes, the resurrection is, yes, living in the world to come. Yeah, that is a part of it, us being resurrected where the Most High wants us to be.
To ancient Kemet. According to Professor Acholonu, there is a connection between Igbo Ukwu and Heliopolis, an ancient Egyptian city known for its religious and cultural significance. The mummy of Amune, a priestess of Hathor, dating to...
And why is that? Why is the nose just, I mean, why are all the noses destroyed?
...to the Middle Kingdom, around 2055 to 1650 BCE, provides the most detailed evidence of ancient Egyptian scarification. Discovered in 1891 and examined by Dr. Daniel Fouquet, Amune's mummy revealed extensive tattooing. multiple diamond shapes composed of dots on her right thigh, tattoos on her left shoulder and breast, markings on her right arm below the elbow, an elliptical pattern of dots and dashes covering the abdominal wall. 2 additional female mummies, described as Hathoric dancers in the court of King Mentuhotep, bore similar abdominal markings. The Dinka and Nuer peoples of South Sudan maintain scarification traditions directly comparable to ancient practices. Among the Dinka, facial scarification around the temple area serves for clan identification. The Nuer practice forehead scarification with tribal-specific patterns. Various Ethiopian ethnic groups, including the Oromo and Afar, practice scarification with patterns that mirror those found on ancient Egyptian mummies and reliefs. The Igbo people of Nigeria practice scarification with geometric patterns similar to those found on ancient Egyptian priestesses. Archaeological evidence from Igbo Ukwu shows bronze artifacts with detailed scarification patterns matching ancient Egyptian designs. Research by J.M. Agai, conducted in 2013, documents extensive cultural practices connecting ancient Egyptians to the Yoruba people of Nigeria, including body modification techniques and their spiritual significance. The Kingdom of Congo maintained scarification practices with spiritual significance, similar to ancient Egyptian traditions. Research by K.L. Luyaluka documents connections between Congo religious practices and ancient Egyptian beliefs, including body modification for spiritual purposes. Berber peoples across North Africa, from Morocco to Libya, maintain scarification traditions that show continuity with ancient Egyptian practices, particularly among the Tuareg and other Saharan groups. From 5000 BCE, ancient Egyptians cultivated flax for weaving linen. The world's oldest woven garment, the Tarkan dress, dates to 5,100 to 5,500 years old. The basic Egyptian garments, the shendit, men's kilt, and kalasiris, women's sheath dress, employed draped and wrapped construction techniques. Research documents striking similarities between Queen Nefertiti's headdress and traditional Zulu female attire, particularly the wide flare design of Zulu women's headdresses. Zulu traditional clothing features fabric draped over one shoulder and across the bodice, with the other shoulder bare, mirroring ancient Egyptian garment construction. The circular-shaped hats called izikolo, made from grass, show construction techniques similar to ancient Egyptian headwear, particularly in their symbolic significance and ceremonial use. The Ashanti of Ghana maintain clothing traditions that parallel ancient Egyptian royal attire, particularly in the use of draped fabrics and symbolic colors. The concept of divine kingship among the Ashanti directly mirrors ancient Egyptian practices. This revered Sabaean queen wears a pleated dress like the queens of Egypt. We notice her frizzy hair. Traditional Ethiopian royal clothing shows construction techniques and symbolic elements similar to ancient Egyptian pharaonic dress, particularly in the use of fine linen and ceremonial draping. Oromo women's traditional garments feature draping techniques and fabric manipulation similar to ancient Egyptian clothing construction. Egyptian hieroglyphs, developed around 3200 BCE, evolved into hieratic and demotic scripts. The Coptic language remains in use today as the liturgical language of the Coptic Orthodox Church. The Meroitic alphabet, used in the Kingdom of Kush, modern Sudan, from 300 BCE to...
Well, you know, we could go on with this, but long story short, there are controversies surrounding not just the 10 tribes and where they went, and even, other individuals like we're seeing here, where there is a question about, well, where did the people go? Who did they mix with? And you know that we did mix with basically some of everyone that exists here in the world. Like on every continent, we definitely, we're there, right? We're all over the world, literally. And when you really take a look at it and understand, when the Most High brings us all together, we're going to have people represented And it's going to be a beautiful thing, but all of us being under the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. And what I do, my brothers and sisters, imagine a society where everyone is following the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, where we're gathered together and there's a sense of righteousness and love and integrity and truth and wholesomeness, and there's that strong family element. I cannot wait. But when we're gathered, when the Most High gathers us from the four corners of the earth, brings us together, it is going to be a wonderful time. So right now we're dealing with all these controversies and do these people belong? Do they not belong? Who are they? So forth and so on. And you're right. You're right, Ben Naphtali. You're right. The narrator does seem to do that, and that's not true. They're not all to be lumped together like that. That's very true. Looking at this, I want to say, oh, thank you, my sister, for saying that she likes that. And that's my point. That's my point, Amunapua. That's my point. We are everywhere, but when the Most High joins us together, it's going to be an absolutely wonderful thing. And I'm excited just thinking about it, just envisioning how it's going to be, the true kingdom of the Most High, the true Israel coming together, united once again, and able to have society as it was intended to be. I can't wait. I'm excited, but you know what? Hey, we're going to go into another segment. Be right back. Do I know of the lost books of the Tanakh? Do I know of the lost books in the Tanakh? Question number 1. Which of the following books is explicitly mentioned in the Tanakh but no longer exists? Is it A, the book of Jasher, Sefer Hayashar, or is it B, the book of wars of Yahweh, Sefer Milhamot Yahweh, or is it C, the Acts of Shlomo, Divrei Shlomo, or is it D, all of the above? Munapua is the first to weigh in with the D. Terry weighs in with the B. Jacqueline E. Bugs weighs in with the C. And we're still counting. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with an A. Miss H with the B. Ben Naphtali, B. Yehudith Israel, also B. once, going twice. Which of the following books is explicitly mentioned in the Tanakh but no longer exists? What could the answer be? And the answer is D for all of the above. The book of Yasher, Joshua 10 and 13, also 2 Samuel 1 and 18, the book of the Wars of Yah, Numbers 21 and 14, and the Acts of Shlomo is mentioned in 1 Kings 11 and 41. Congratulations to those who did get the correct answer. Question number 2. The prophet Samuel is associated with writings beyond the canonical books of Samuel 1 and 2. Which lost record is directly tied to him? Which lost record directly ties to him? Again, these are books that are mentioned in the Tanakh but that are no longer in existence. Is it A, the book of Samuel the seer, or is it B, the book of Nathan the prophet, or is it C, the book of Gad the seer, or is it D, for none of the above? Christine Croning weighs in with a B. Also, Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with a B. Munapua says, Terry weighs in with a C. Miss H weighs in with a B. My sister Jacqueline says, got me. Biafra Kebulan weighs in with a B. Yehudith Yisrael weighs in with a C. Ben Naftali weighs in with a B. DB Nobody Lunarian Darian asks, what can I do to learn all of this info and study for the next quiz? Ben Naftali weighs in with a B. Also, DB Nobody weighs in with a B. And the answer is going once, going twice. The answer is yes, the answer is A. The reference comes to us from 1 Chronicles 29 and 29. Now the acts of Dawid Hamelech, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Samuel the seer, and in the book of Nathan the prophet, and in the book of Gad the seer. So that really should be all of the above. That really should be all of the above. My apologies. So we'll give that to you guys. Everyone that put in an answer, you were correct. Next question. Which lost writing is cited as containing genealogical or historical records concerning the kings of Judah and Israel? The DB Nobody, who says, I definitely need to study, I'll say, hey, we all do. Which lost writing is cited as containing genealogical or historical records concerning the kings of Judah and Israel? Again, this is a lost writing. Is it A, the book of the kings of Israel and Judah? Or is it B, the chronicles of the kings of Judah? Or C, the chronicles of the kings of Israel? Or is it D, for all of the above? Ben Naftali was the first to weigh in with an A. DB Nobody says D. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with an A. Miss H weighs in with an A. Amunapua with a D. Christine Croning also with a D. Terry with a D. Oh, many of you are getting smart. Terry weighs in with a D. Yahudith Israel weighs in with a D. And what is the answer? And the answer is D, all of the above. The reference comes to us from 2 Chronicles 16 and 11 and 27 and 7 for the chronicles of the kings of Judah. 1 Kings 14 and 19 for the chronicles of the kings of Israel. And 2 Chronicles 27 and 7 for the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. So yes, D is the correct answer. Congratulations to all who did get a correct answer. Question 4. Which of the following prophets are connected to writings no longer in existence but referenced in Chronicles, specifically? Chronicles. And none of these are from the Dead Sea Scrolls. To answer your question, DB Nobody, none of these are from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Which of the following prophets are connected to writings no longer in existence but referenced in Chronicles? Is it A, Nathan the prophet, B, Edo the seer, C, Shemaiah the prophet? Is it D, all of the above, or is it E, for none of the above? Question number 4, DB Nobody is the first to weigh in with a B. Terry weighs in with an A. weighs in with a C. Christine Croning with an E. Miss H with a D. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with a C. Going once, going twice. And the answer is D, for all of the above. Yes, Biafra, you hit the nail on the head in the last second. Yes, D is the correct answer. The references come to us from 2 Chronicles 9 and 29, the prophecy of Ahijah and the visions of Edo the seer. 2 Chronicles 12 and 15, the words of Shemaiah the prophet and of Edo the seer. And 1 Chronicles 29 and 29, which references the book of Nathan the prophet. Congratulations to those that did get correct answers. I promise to make the next one a little easier. This has been How Hebrew Are You?
It's time. How Hebrew Are You? It's your chance to show how much you know. Upon learning I'm Mount Uriel. Let's go.
I want to ask you a question. Would you pick up a French dictionary in order to help you define Spanish? Would you pick up a book on physics to help you understand the simplicities of cooking a recipe? No, you would not. You need the right reference material for the particular job at hand. And the Most High has given us a job of living the life according to the laws, statutes, and commandments that He has given. Why do I bring up this dichotomy? Why do I bring up this question? Because that is what many of us are doing. We are using reference works that are Christian in origin, nature, and bias. And we're having to gain a a purely Hebraic understanding from them. And this, my dear brothers and sisters, is insane. I'm looking, need your help. I'm looking to foster Hebraic scholarship. So we've started the Hebrew Scholar magazine, and with this, there's something for the entire family, but there's also a platform to be able to develop new, young, and budding scholars. We want scholars that are going to basically produce materials from our perspective with our truth that's for us, that's by us, and that's going to benefit us and help us throughout all generations. I'm Melky Uriel. I want you to subscribe to the magazine. I need you to subscribe to the magazine. We want to reach our first goal of 500 subscribers. And then, of course, we want to go to 1,000 and move on from there. But bottom line of it is, we need this for the nation, for the community. We need this for Israel. We need our own scholars. And it's time that we began to invest in our own scholarship. So help us out. Go to thehebrewscholar.com. We'll see you there. Shalom. Let me just say to let me just say to the family, I know that those were hard, okay, but listen, to GB Nobody and everyone else, the purpose is to really just kind of do what it's doing to get you stirred up, to get you to, become aware of these things and then to go study them. It's not really about you knowing them when I ask you, but it's about you being introduced to the material so that you will then go and you will study. So, hey, don't expect to know all the answers. This is really about nudging you towards more study, right? Nudging you towards more study. So that's what this is about. And yeah. So don't be like, oh, I'm only 10% Hebrew today. No, you're good. You're good. Okay, with this Moshe in your kitchen, I want to introduce you guys to something that I'm going to be starting. This is not me cooking, okay? But I'm going to start making what they're making and other things like it. And you'll see why. You'll see why. So this is not Hebrew, but it is an excellent idea for your health. It's an excellent idea for your nutrition. And so, hey, let's go ahead and let's see.
One ingredient has more protein than chicken breast. The protein industry has hidden this secret from you for decades. My grandmother lived to 103, eating this ancient superfood daily. Welcome to Kochen Family Cool, more than just recipes. Many channels copy my content, but they can't copy years of research. Every recipe here is my original creation that actually works. Today, I'm revealing something absolutely mind-blowing. While regular bread destroys your gut health, this recipe heals it. One serving
Please keep in mind that the bread here in the United States is banned in other countries. It is banned in other countries. They do not allow the sale of bread made here in America in other countries. And it really is affecting our health. Everything that we eat is affecting our health. But here's a way to take a step back and to be able to regain, okay? Hey, looks like we want to regain our health and make some moves in the right direction.
Provides 18 grams of complete protein. That's more than most steaks. My diabetic viewers report stable blood sugar after switching to this bread. The fiber in lentils feeds your beneficial gut bacteria. Your microbiome will thank you. This cost pennies compared to store-bought protein bread that's full of chemicals. Mary, 67, lost 30 pounds in 3 months eating this bread daily. Did you know lentils contain more iron than spinach? Amazing for energy. After 20 years of joint pain, Susan wrote, "This bread changed my entire life." Plant-based protein is easier for your body to digest than animal protein. Store-bought bread contains up to 23 chemicals. This has just real food ingredients. Time to drain and rinse. Rinse and drain the water. Look at these beautiful, plump lentils. Nature's perfect protein package. This ancient grain...
Okay, I gotta say, Yehudith, you just messed me up with that one. She said, our bread has hair of pigs and humans to stabilize its shelf and taste. Its shelf life and taste. OMG.
Grain was considered sacred by Egyptian pharaohs. 1 cup provides 90% of your daily folate needs, crucial after 50. The phytonutrients in lentils actually reverse cellular aging. My energy levels doubled after making this my daily bread. Forget expensive superfoods. Lentils are the ultimate nutrient powerhouse. These farm-fresh eggs add the perfect binding power to our superfood bread.
If you're vegan, of course, you can use psyllium. It is 1 tablespoon to a warm cup of water per egg.
The combination of plant and animal protein creates
That is, if you're vegan.
a complete amino acid profile. This protein content rivals expensive protein bars at a fraction of the cost. Eggs provide choline for brain health, crucial for memory after 50. The lecithin in eggs helps your body absorb the nutrients from lentils. This is becoming a nutritional powerhouse that will transform your health. My 85-year-old neighbor makes this weekly and has more energy than people half her age. The vitamin D in eggs helps your body utilize all these amazing nutrients. This is real food, not the processed chemical concoctions in stores. Sarah lost 40 pounds eating this bread instead of regular bread for 6 months. The amino acids in this blend support muscle maintenance, crucial after 40. Extra virgin olive oil provides healthy monounsaturated fats for brain health. These healthy fats help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. Mediterranean populations have the lowest heart disease rates. Olive oil is their secret. The polyphenols in olive oil fight inflammation at the cellular level. Perfect amount. Turmeric is the most powerful anti-inflammatory food on the planet. The curcumin in turmeric has been shown to reverse arthritis symptoms. This golden spice protects your brain from Alzheimer's and dementia. People who consume turmeric have the lowest Alzheimer's rates. That's why. Studies show turmeric is as effective as ibuprofen for joint pain. This spice literally turns off the genes that cause chronic inflammation. The antioxidant power of turmeric exceeds most expensive supplements. My viewers with chronic pain report 50% reduction after eating this bread daily. Look at this beautiful golden color. That's pure healing power.
Yeah, I agree. After
Albumin
Shabbat,
is
I'm also
pure
going to be making
protein
this bread.
powder that makes this bread incredibly satisfying. This addition brings our protein content to restaurant quality levels. The protein density in this bread rivals expensive protein bars. This helps stabilize blood sugar for steady energy all day long. My diabetic viewers love how this prevents their afternoon energy crashes. The high protein content supports muscle maintenance as we age. This is the secret to creating bakery quality texture at home. The consistency is absolutely perfect for creating fluffy, moist bread. This smooth blend will rise beautifully and create amazing texture. Store-bought bread could never achieve this level of nutrition and quality. The protein content in this batter is absolutely incredible. My viewers tell me this bread keeps them satisfied for 4 to 5 hours. Regular flour spikes blood sugar. This stabilizes it. You're creating bread that actually improves your health with every bite. The fiber content is 5 times higher than white bread. John, 72, reversed his prediabetes eating this bread for breakfast daily. This blend provides sustained energy for 6+ hours. No crashes. The magnesium in lentils calms your nervous system naturally. Perfect consistency. This will create the most amazing bread texture. Store-bought gluten-free bread has more chemicals than regular bread. Time for our protein powerhouse. My viewers call this medicine bread because of the incredible health benefits. The protein quality in this recipe exceeds most expensive supplements. Store-bought bread has 0 nutritional value. This is pure healing food. This bread will keep you satisfied for hours. No more constant snacking. Regular bread triggers cravings. This eliminates them completely. This texture is going to be absolutely incredible when baked. The finishing touch. Sprinkle with sesame seeds. Sesame seeds add healthy fats and a delightful nutty crunch. Time to transform this into golden perfection. Bake 40 to 45 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. While we wait, let's create the perfect spread. Now I'll prepare a spread for the bread. Fresh avocado, the perfect creamy companion. Avocados provide heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats that reduce inflammation. Studies show avocados help with weight management by increasing satiety. These healthy fats...
I think TV Anybody wanted the ingredients written in the chat. My keyboard is on the blink, otherwise I would type it in for you. You may have to watch this part of the segment again and write it down. Sorry about that.
Fats help your body absorb all the nutrients from our amazing bread. This natural spread contains 0 artificial preservatives or chemicals.
Okay, my sister Jacqueline, you said you didn't oil the parchment, so did it come out? Did the bread come out okay?
The healthy fats support brain function and memory, perfect for staying sharp. Avocados help your body produce glutathione.
The white powder was albumin.
Your body's master antioxidant. This creamy goodness melts perfectly on warm, fresh bread. The
Did you wash your hands before you put your hands all on the...
combination satisfies cravings naturally, without any processed additives. Mexican populations have eaten avocados for thousands of years with amazing health. This spread provides sustained energy without any blood sugar spikes. Time for probiotics. Greek yogurt adds protein and beneficial probiotics for gut health. The live cultures in yogurt support immune system function naturally. This creamy addition makes our spread incredibly smooth and delicious. Probiotics in yogurt help your body absorb nutrients more effectively. The protein in yogurt helps stabilize blood sugar throughout the day. Parsley is loaded with vitamin C, more than most citrus fruits. This herb naturally detoxifies your body and freshens breath instantly. The chlorophyll in parsley supports healthy blood and liver function. Fresh herbs add living enzymes that boost metabolism naturally. The antioxidants in parsley fight free radicals and slow aging. This vibrant green color signals incredible nutritional density. Parsley supports kidney function and natural detoxification. The flavor will be absolutely fresh and incredibly appetizing. Store-bought spreads use artificial herbs. We're using Nature's Pharmacy. Immune System Booster. Fresh garlic provides natural antibiotic properties to boost immunity. The allicin in garlic fights infections more effectively than many medications. Raw garlic supports cardiovascular health and reduces cholesterol naturally. This pungent bulb has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years. The sulfur compounds in garlic support liver detoxification naturally. Fresh lime juice provides vitamin C and prevents oxidation of our avocado.
I hate to hear that. Amuna, because I just bought some Bragg's amino acids. I just bought it.
The citric acid enhances iron absorption from all our nutritious ingredients. Lime juice naturally preserves freshness without any artificial preservatives. This bright acidity balances the richness perfectly for incredible flavor. The vitamin C supports collagen production for healthy, youthful skin. Store-bought spreads use chemical preservatives. We use nature's own preservative. Fresh lime juice provides potent antioxidants that fight inflammation. The natural acidity helps break down proteins for better digestion. This bright, clean flavor cuts through richness for perfect balance. The vitamin C content supports wound healing and immune system strength. Sesame seeds provide healthy fats and incredible nutty flavor. These tiny seeds are packed with calcium for strong bones. The lignans in sesame seeds support hormone balance naturally. Sesame seeds provide magnesium for heart health and muscle function. The protein in sesame seeds complements our already protein-rich bread perfectly. These seeds add incredible texture and satisfying crunch. Our spread is complete. The spread is ready. Look at this vibrant, fresh spread packed with living nutrition. The colors are absolutely beautiful. That's nature's way of showing nutrition. This spread has more nutrients than any processed spread in stores. The moment we've been waiting for. The bread is done and needs to cool. Look at that gorgeous golden color and perfectly risen texture. This bread looks absolutely incredible, like something from a gourmet bakery. The aroma filling your kitchen right now is pure heaven. This cooling step allows the interior to set perfectly for slicing. The anticipation is killing me. Thank you for subscribing. This incredible community means...
Now, this bread, I am definitely going to make this bread. I would make it today, but it's Shabbat. But hey, tomorrow or sometime soon, I will definitely make it. And with that being the case, listen, we'll be right back. So don't go no wayas. We will be right back. Well, fam, we're at the end. We're at the end of our time together for today. But I just simply want to say real quick, those of you that are watching us, we have far more watching us than are in the chat room. Those of you, everyone watching us, hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you are subscribed. Last time we did this, we gained 10 subscribers. So if you think that you are subscribed, Perhaps you may not be, but hey, it's no problem double checking. Go ahead and hit subscribe to make sure that you are subscribed, and do hit the thumbs up. Give me a like, help us out here. I want to say, for those of you who have been with us, I really do appreciate you. And Michael Charles Marsh says, can you make a sandwich with it? Yes, you can. You can make a sandwich with that bread. I've also, someone said that they made, I think my sister Jacqueline said that she made the 2-ingredient bread. I've made the bread with yogurt and with flour. I've done that, and it was all right. It was a-okay. And let me see here. The other thing is, like, these other breads, I like them because they're more healthy, far more healthier for you than what you buy in the store. And now we're paying so much. You know, it's not uncommon now to pay $3, $4, $5, $6 for a decent loaf of bread. For that price, you could have gotten all the ingredients and made something fresh that's going to do your body much, much good, and bypass all of the well, thank you DB Nobody, thank you very much, appreciate it. Said first time live, definitely subscribing. Thank you for that. Peace and blessings to you. I don't know if we want to open it up for questions. Do you all have questions? You want to open it up? By the way, hold on before I listen. I want to give a special shout out to Brother Adrian. Brother Adrian was watching YouTube, and someone actually mentioned me in another broadcast, but they were saying that I subscribe to the New Testament, and they were kind of making fun. And I just want to commend our brother Adrian for really sticking up for the family, sticking up for who we are. And he really did have my back in my absence, and I appreciate you for that. I really do appreciate you. And so, hey, I want to say thank you. You know, I love you. You know that I appreciate you. Thank you, Brother Adrian. And, my sister Christine Koning says, Ezekiel bread is $10. Oh, my goodness. By the time you get done making something fresh, and I tell you, and better for you, yeah. And there's other recipes, by the way. And I really appreciate this. And you know, you're right, Terry. Terry says, another great gathering. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat nap time. And you know what? I just simply want to say, I agree. My email address you have. I love you all. We're going to let you enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Man, a nap sounds real good right now. Something good to eat in a nap sounds absolutely wonderful. So peace and blessings to you, my brothers and sisters. I love you all. And hey, Yah willing, we will see you for the midweek, which will be sponsored by the Hebrew Scholar magazine. See you later, alligators. Love you all. And hey, we will chat with you, Yah willing, very, very soon. Exactly, Terry. Exactly. But hey, peace and blessings. Love you all. See you soon.